I am as grateful as always. If not for the Nigerian media, our struggle for a better Nigeria will not be known by any person. To our resolution, it was not easy reaching this point. Gentlemen, it is obvious that one of the major issues dominating discussions in the Nigerian political space today is the issue of leadership of both chambers of the National Assembly. Though as a Nigerian, I'm interested in what happens in both chambers, but as a member-elect of the House of Representatives, I am particularly interested in what happens in the House of Representatives. Before I decided to contest to be a member of this House, I had envisioned a House of Representatives that is independent, vocal, truly representative of the people, and making laws for the promotion of law and order and for good governance of the country. I had envisioned a House of Representatives that would create a platform for Nigerians to aspire and reach their potentials and fulfill their dreams. That vision cannot be achieved if the House does not have a leadership that has the competence and capacity to carry along not just members, but all Nigerians in order to actualize those lofty ambitions. With the numbers and composition of parties that won election in the House, it has made the political party with the largest number of seats not to have up to half of the total number, thus making opposition parties to have majority of the numbers of the House when put together. This clearly presents an opportunity for the members-elect to explore numerous options that can give good leadership to the House, which they believe will suit their agenda. Hence, there is intense struggle for who should be the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the House. Nigerians will recall that in 2015, I was one of those that shouted to high heavens in support of Dr. Bukola Saraki for Senate President in opposition against the choice of the ruling party then. That position was not taken then just because there was need for an opposition. But I saw a man who would preserve the identity of the parliament while offering the opportunity for a harmonious executive-legislature relationship. I saw an educated man, one who understood the need for modern-day legislations. In my assessment then, Dr. Saraki was better for Nigeria, and history has since proved that I was correct. Dr. Saraki delivered, despite the challenges of those days, with landmark modern-day legislations. It is based on the above that I must state it clearly that I, Ikenga Ikeagwuonu, speaking for myself and a group of like-minded opposition lawmakers elect, we have personal interest in who becomes the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives. I am also aware that the rules through which the election are conducted can in one way or the other affect the outcome of this election of the leadership of the House. I will also have direct interest in the set of rules that will be used to conduct the election, as the rules will directly determine the mode of the election and ultimately the outcome. If the 10th House gets the question of leadership correctly, then we would have created a solid pedestal on which to stand to do for Nigerians that which shall make their lives better, our country safer, and our economy stronger. At this point, I am bound to remember the words of Martin Luther King Jr. when he said that the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. I have, over the period of the last 8 weeks, or thereabouts, interacted with my colleagues who have declared their interest to occupy the position of Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. I must also say that they are all members of the ruling All Progressive Congress Party, since currently no member of the opposition has declared despite the opposition numbers. From the interactions, their strengths, ideas, capacity, thinking, competencies, vision, ideologies, and missions are very clear to me now. I align with some of the things I discovered in this interaction, and for others, I totally objected. However, the purpose of this interaction is not to discuss the weakness of my colleagues, as I have immense respect for all of them. It is primarily to identify and chart a course for the 10th House of Representatives, which shall afford members the opportunity to live their dreams and keep their promises to their people. It is therefore on that note that I state that having interacted and assessed all my colleagues who have indicated interest and put themselves forward to contest for the position of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the House of the Representatives, I have come to the firm and inevitable conclusion that I, Ikenga Ikeagwuonu, House of Representative member-elect for the good people of Idato North and Idato South Federal Constituency of Imo State, former senior advisor to the Senate President and spokesperson of the biggest opposition coalition in Nigeria, shall be I have come to the firm and inevitable conclusion that I, Ikenga Ikeagwuonu, House of Representative member-elect for the good people of Idato North and South Federal Constituency, Imo State, former senior advisor to the Senate President and spokesperson for the biggest opposition coalition in Nigeria, CUPP, shall be supporting Honorable Tajudeen Abbas for the position of Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives and Honorable Benjamin Okezie Kalu as Deputy Speaker. I did not come to this decision easily. Neither did I reach it in support of the zoning formula by the APC. I would have ordinarily been in the forefront of opposition to it. However, if they had not chosen Tajudeen Abbas, I would have chosen him and supported him. Same for Benjamin Kalu. Sincerely, I have chosen TJ and Kalu, and when coincidentally the APC announced them as the choice of the party, I was in a dilemma and I was tempted to move my support away. But on further reflection, I came to the conclusion that abandoning TJ Abbas for the fact that APC also chose him would have amounted to playing politics with competence, capacity, and character. I advised myself, and I'm happy I did. This is the time for national development, inclusiveness, growth, stability, and not the time for party politics. As a matter of fact, on 7th of May 2023, in this same hall, during the Southeast Caucus meeting, before the APC zoning list came out, I moved the motion for the adoption of Benjamin Kalu as the consensus candidate of Southeast lawmakers for the post of Deputy Speaker because of his competence and capacity. Again, I have made similar assessments, and I am to say to my colleagues that Honorable Tajudeen Abbas and Honorable Benjamin Kalu are the best men for the job at this time. But many will ask Ikenga, why did I choose Honorable Tajudeen Abbas and Benjamin Kalu? Honorable Tajudeen Abbas possesses all the needed qualities to be the next Speaker of the 10th Assembly. He is enviably educated, has a doctorate degree, and eminently and vastly experienced to preside over the affairs of the House. He is highly resourceful and is manifestly of unblemished integrity, which has earned him respect among our colleagues at the National Assembly and obviously his party. He has distinguished himself as the only federal lawmaker from Northwest who has thus far sponsored an unprecedented 74 bills. He also stands out as a man that is most suitable in character, experience, and academic qualification to preside over the House. He has the energy and age on his side. He is a man that is cool, calm, calculated, and highly experienced in the business of lawmaking. He is renowned for his humility and dedication to service, and has no record of confrontation with his colleagues, particularly his committee members. He has served in various committees of the House that include national planning and economic development, public procurement, defense, special duties, finance, and commerce, among others. When I hear some people say that they don't know Tajudeen Abbas, I always tell them, you don't go to sitting or follow development in the parliament, because if you do, you can't make a pedestrian argument or ask a roadside question that you don't know a man who has sponsored 74 bills, and I repeat, 74 bills in this present session, and over 40-something in the last session, And 20 of those bills have been signed into law by the president. That you cannot make such a pedestrian argument or ask such a roadside question that you don't know a man who has sponsored 74 bills that went through most of the stages for lawmaking, with over 20 signed into law already by President Muhammad Buhari. Tajudeen Abbas has a very identifiable and robust career trajectory that covers education, management, and marketing. He worked as a primary school teacher from 1981 to 1988, and afterwards worked with Trust Acceptance Limited as an investment officer from 1988 to 1989. He also worked at the bursary department of Kaduna State Polytechnic as accountant in 1989. He further picked interest in academics when he took up employment as a lecturer, and equally doubled as the pioneer head of the Department of Accounting and Finance, Department of Kaduna State Polytechnic Zaria from 1989 to 1993. He, however, left the academic environment to pick up employment with the Nigerian Tobacco Distribution Company PLC, now known as British American Tobacco, as area marketing manager from 1993 to 1998. From there, Tajudeen Abbas, the member for Zaria, left to become the general manager of Just Tobacco Distribution Company Limited from 1998 to 2001. He equally found his way back to academics in 2001, where he served as the head of department and senior lecturer in the Banking and Finance Department of New Bamali Polytechnic Zaria till 2005. He afterwards moved to Kaduna State University, Kaduna in 2005, where he worked at the accounting department as lecturer and the pioneer head of the department until 2010. Tajudeen Abbas successfully published 13 academic papers in international journals and also attended more than 40 national and international seminars and conferences while working as a lecturer. In 2011, Abbas ventured into the world of politics, where he contested and won an election as a member representing Zaria Federal Constituency of Kaduna State on the platform of Congress for Progressive Change, CPC. He was made the Deputy Chairman House Committee on Legislative Compliance and served in this position until 2015. He was in 2015 re-elected on the platform of the All Progressive Congress, APC. He also served as the Chairman of House Committee on Solid Minerals until 2019. From available records, Honorable Tajudeen Abbas have won several back-to-back awards as the best performing House of Representative member for several years. Above all, he sponsored 43 bills, and I want Nigerians who are listening, my colleagues, I want Nigerians to hear me very well on this. He sponsored 43 bills and 13 motions in the 8th Assembly, which was the third highest number of bills from any member. Then Abbas, in the 9th Assembly that we have today, that is about to end, he equally sponsored 74 bills and 7 motions, which turned out to be the highest by any member in the House. Interestingly, 21 of the bills he sponsored have been signed into law by President Muhammad Buhari. Furthermore, all those who in all interactions and consultation that have spoken against Abbas have not done so based on lack of competence and capacity, but on other mundane issues which cannot help national development and cohesion. I believe we have passed the stage for such discussions and persuasions. The focus is a greater Nigeria, and one of the ways to get it is to put round pegs in round holes and nothing less. An assessment of some of the bills sponsored by Honorable Tajudeen Abbas will show his focus on certain critical areas of economy, including health, education, finance, youth development, science and technology, anti-corruption, etc. Some of his bills include Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission Act Amendment Bill, Public Procurement Act Amendment Bill, National Youth Welfare Scheme Fund Bill Establishment Bill, Nigerian National Honors and Merit Award Commission Bill, National University Commission Act Amendment Bill, Tertiary Education Trust Fund Act Amendment Bill, Federal University of Technology Kaduna Establishment Bill, Federal University of Technology Lagos Establishment Bill. Others are National Blood Service Commission, Federal Medical Center Establishment Bill, Federal Medical Centers that we have today in Abakaliki, Abeokuta, Asaba, Azare, Bida, Birinkedu, Birinkudu, Ebutameta, Yola, Guso, Ado-Ekiti, has all their establishment bill moved by Honorable Tajudeen Abbas. The bills also include Aso Rock Villa Hospital Abuja Establishment Bill, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill, Secondary School Certificate Examination Standard Regulation Bill, Nigeria Legion Act Amendment Bill, Pharmacists Council Act Amendment Bill, National Environmental Standard Regulation and Enforcement Agency Act Amendment Bill. Gentlemen, I have taken time to show that the man I choose and majority of lawmakers across party lines want have a history. He did not just come from nowhere, like we say in Nigeria. His track record shows a man with focus, believes in hard work, legislative competence, and is humble. His background is not doubtful, and to the extent that the eyes of man can see, Tajudeen Abbas is clean. You will kindly also note that some of the people who today are supporting Tajudeen Abbas are also persons who in the past had been on the receiving end of my activism and opposition to some actions of government policy that are not for the good of the people. Despite this, I believe it is clear that the character and quality of the man stands him out above these other considerations. And it is believed that these persons will not influence him to lose track of his strong convictions that the parliament is an independent arm of government which should work harmoniously with other arms for stability, growth, and development of the country. The stability I speak of also comes from the distribution of offices among different people and geopolitical zones. For the first time in 8 years, the people of Southeast are considered for a presiding role in the National Assembly. I must also say that as sectional as this may sound, I am from the Southeast, and the Southeast have been marginalized, including the Southeast at this time is not enough, but it is a beginning to national integration and should be commended, rather than throwing everything given to the Southeast and South away. I am a nationalist, and I'm here also on the mandate of my people, so I shall defend my people fearlessly without fear or favor. For the last 16 uninterrupted years, the Senate presidency of the country has been with our brothers in the North. If for any reason, any person that is planning on opposing against the choice of Godswill Akpabio, then the person can choose from any of the southern senators, like Oji Kalu, like all citizens, or who the man that I don't like is who opposes the man is supporting. Patrick Ndubeze, who are all ranking senators from the South. So if you say this is not good, and you're a man of justice, and you're fighting for national integration and cohesion, you choose from the other one, not to move it entirely and then want to have all sections of the country holding those key positions. Also, it should be noted that the South has not occupied the seat of either Senate President or Speaker since return to democracy for 24 years, despite that their environment is being destroyed daily so that we can eat. If they are denied the opportunity now, and both seats taken back to the North, one can ask, where is our sense of equity, fairness, and justice as a country? A Senate presidency from the South will bring about both religious and regional stability. We must not gloss over the fact that the president-elect and his vice are already Muslims. Now, if you do not go by this zoning formula, or don't bring an option that brings cohesion and inclusiveness, when you are done with what you are doing, you will not end up having Muslim president, Muslim vice president, Muslim Senate president, Muslim speaker, Muslim CJN. Is that fair? Taking both the Senate president and speaker to the North will invariably mean that the top 5 positions in the order of succession in the country will be Muslims. That is clearly not the intent of the Constitution when it talks about federal character, and also not in line with the desire and aspiration of our nation's founding fathers, who envisioned a country where everyone will have a sense of belonging. This trajectory will cause more exclusion and alienation of majority of Christian South and may not augur well for stability and unity. If those who are driving this current opposition to the zoning formula are not being selfish, they would have considered all the zones of the country in making their selection. As it stands for them, the Southeast and the South do not deserve anything. They act like they have forgotten that from 2015 to 2019, while we had a Northern president we also had a Northern Senate President and Northern Speaker. But they now thought balancing as their reason for insisting both presiding officers of the National Assembly should go to the North. It is obvious these people do not mean well for our country and do not think of stability. It cannot be said that the reason for what these opponents of inclusiveness and stability of the country are doing is because they went for competence. If they say Akpabio is not competent, then the question would be, why not choose Kalu? Why not choose Iznaso? Why not choose Patrick Ndubezo? Do they also lack competence? How do they want some of us to go home and explain to our people that we voted for the Senate President and Speakership to be returned to the North, both seats they have had for 16 years since 1999? Since majority of lawmakers in the year to be inaugurated 10th House has chosen a very competent person in the person of Tajudeen Abbas from the North and Benjamin Kalu from the Southeast, it would be best if the Senate presidency goes to the South, especially South-South. Strangely, the government got it right, and those within the ruling parties stoking the embers of disunity and hoping to enjoy the support of the opposition lawmakers got it wrong. Hence, we will deny them the opposition vote. Inclusiveness and stability of the country is very important, and I have not been given any reason why the South-South cannot have the Senate presidency at this time, or why the Senate presidency should stay in the North for 20 consecutive years, including the speakership. On the other hand, the choice of Honorable Benjamin Okezie Kalu as the Deputy Speaker can best be described as giving a qualified man a job that suits him. Benjamin Kalu, with just 4 years' experience in the House, has sponsored over 40 bills. He is intelligent, charismatic, young, and has shown competence and capacity in the discharge of his legislative duties. As a lawyer, I believe Benjamin Kalu will do exceptionally well as the chairman of the Constitutional Review Committee, which, according to parliamentary tradition, is headed by the Deputy Speaker in the House of the Representatives. Some of the bills sponsored by Honorable Benjamin Kalu include Federal College of Education (BEN) the Establishment Bill, Industrial Development Income Tax Relief Act Amendment Bill, Counterfeit Currency Special Provision Act Amendment Bill, Dangerous Drug Act Amendment Bill, Nigeria Meteorological Agency Act Amendment Bill, Nigeria Communication Act Amendment Bill, Internal Loans Rehabilitation, Reconstruction and Development Act Amendment Bill, Public Accounts Implementation Tribunal Act Repeal Bill, among others. His most recent bill, which seeks to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to delete the item prisons in the exclusive legislative list and redesignate it as correctional services in the concurrent legislative list, has been assented to by President Muhammad Buhari. Gentlemen, I do not speak for myself alone. I speak for the 63 like-minded honorable members-elect of the opposition family who have agreed on a common vision for the 10th Assembly. We will transform to the TBK group, the Tajudeen Ben Kalu Movement for National Unity, Stability, and Inclusive Parliament. Our 63 votes, without any dissent, will go for Honorable Tajudeen Abbas for Speaker and Benjamin Kalu for Deputy Speaker in the coming days. Nigerians will come to know the identity of the DBK group and will also feel our impact in the coming days. It is on this note that I call on my fellow colleague members-elect who are still in the race for speakership and deputy speakership to stop and join the prefect of the class, Honorable Tajudeen Abbas, and his deputy, Benjamin Kalu, to steer the ship of the 10th Assembly to beat the records of the other houses in performance and achievement for Nigeria. The reason I say this is because the opposition party members' vote, which they are relying on for the anticipated opposition that will institute exclusion, is no longer available to them. Our common goal now should be beyond party and partisan politics and totally focus on Nigeria and her greater good. We want the best and we are supporting the best. And importantly, that support is based on merit. With Honorable Tajudeen Abbas and Benjamin Kalu, I feel the 10th Assembly will be in for robust engagement with the Nigerian people and with the other arms of government, especially the executive arm, for the interest and benefit of the Nigerian people. In the course of their consultation, In the course of their consultation, I interacted with Honorable Tajudeen Abbas and Honorable Benjamin Kalu alongside members of the like minds. We put our legislative agenda on the table and asked Honorable Abbas and Kalu a few questions. Particularly, I asked Honorable Abbas, will your speakership offer me an opportunity to move motions and sponsor bills for some economic and political restructuring of the country? And he said yes. I asked Abbas, will your speakership allow me the opportunity to move motions and sponsor bills that are youth-friendly and will provide opportunity to create jobs for the teeming Nigerian youth? And he said yes. Again, I asked TJ Abbas, will you allow me the opportunity to move motions of urgent national importance for the relevant federal government agencies to intervene and save my people of Idato in the erosion which has completely cut off two communities in my federal constituency, Uruala and Ikenga, and completely kept us in darkness for years? And he said yes. I asked him, will he help me to ensure that we take legislative action and lobbying that will see Idato communities that have been in darkness for 20 years get electricity? And he said yes. I further asked him and Ben Kalu, will you allow the committees of the House to fully do their work without undue interference from the leadership within and outside? And again they said yes. Finally, I asked him, knowing that Nigeria is divided along ethnic and religious lines, will your actions, decisions, and appointment as Speaker widen those lines or close them? And he answered that he has never done anything in the past to widen those lines of division and will not start now because he does not believe that those lines should be there. Honorable Tajudeen Abbas held himself out as a man who believes in justice, equity, and fairness, and those who know him and work with him in the past have also confirmed my assessment based on the above. Based on the above, I assured him and Benjamin Kalu, my brother, that they will have my vote and that of the 63 opposition lawmakers in the TBK group who will make their public endorsement in the coming days. With that being said, I and my colleagues of like mind call on the leadership of the APC to know that our support for Tajudeen Abbas is not because of the party selected him. Absolutely. It is not because the party selected him, but because we know he possesses what he requires to drive the 10th rep to progress. As opposition, we would have truly preferred they did not choose him so that we can even make him ourselves. We therefore ask the APC not to interfere in the running of the House upon the election of Tajudeen Abbas and Benjamin Kalu. So, it is my solemn declaration that come June 13, 2023, I and the entire like-minded honorable members-elect will only vote for Honorable Tajudeen Abbas for Speaker of the House of Representatives and Honorable Benjamin Kalu for Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives for competence and inclusiveness. On a final note, I had cause to hear about issues about the mode of election and the House rules. Persons raised issues about purported controversy in the House rule. I am a man that works with facts. I went on a research into the archives of the House. I came to the irrefutable conclusion that the House rules were not doctored, tampered with, or illegally amended. I have had the opportunity to see all the copies of the other papers, as well as the votes and proceedings of the House. I even have to go a step further to meet my elder brother and colleague, Right Honorable Julius Hombre, who coordinated the amendment process as far back as 2019. I will have seen the government printed copies to ascertain that the copies we are given are the authentic House rules and shall be the one which the 10th Assembly will use. The rules were last ordered to be printed on 17 December 2020 and not recently as rumors had it. The amendments are about 2.5 years old and we are not amended after 2023 general election. It's very important that I put this in the public domain. Furthermore, the issue of the identity of the House rule to be used for the election is not even in that because it is not a constitutional issue, as it has been incorporated into the 5th Amendment of the Constitution that has already been signed into law by President Muhammad Buhari. By the provision, the rules that will be used to conduct the election will be the rules used by the previous House before its tenure lapses. So whatever you have in place, which is the one printed in 17 December 2020, is what we'll be using on June 13. So there's no controversy about the issue of the House rule. I urge my colleagues to ignore all the tales of tampering with the rules. Those are political stories and are not fact-based. Truth is always truth, and the House rules are intact and authentic. If there had been any sort of forgery, I would have gladly seen it and exposed it. So if the mode of election as contained in the House rule is the reason why these tales of forgery have been told, then I wonder. The rules demand that members identify themselves by their names before they vote for their member. One cannot boldly stand and openly vote. I would then have to ask, what is there to be hidden? Members are expected to be bold. Members are expected to boldly, fearlessly defend their views, positions, and their constituency at all times, despite party affiliation. It is on this note that I declare again that I, Ikenga Ikeagwuonu Onyinye, representing the good people of Idaho North and South Federal Constituency, once sworn in on June 13, will be openly voting the Tajudeen and Benjamin Kalu ticket alongside all members of the like minds, also known as the TBK group, and we shall be doing so openly and boldly in line with the House rule. I also urge all my members, all my colleagues, all the members-elect of the House to look deeply at the facts, not the sentiment, and unanimously vote Honorable Tajudeen as the Speaker and Honorable Benjamin Kalu as Deputy Speaker, so that we can get the House to hit the ground running without any hitches. Thank you all, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I think this is the first time it's happening.